And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Oh, after a week of fights, a ton of fights, all kinds of fights. We're talking PFL, UFC, Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. What a fight that was. We've got so much to talk about. We have got a plethora of things to go over, some upsets, some things that we predicted. My man, Josh Thompson, you were with a bunch of kids doing jiu-jitsu tournaments, and I am proud of you for doing that. That is a good man. And you have no voice now, which is even better. What's up?
You guys, bear with me, guys. It seems to be this thing that, obviously with the allergies around here as well, but it's my voice, man. I was yelling all day. I left my house at 5:30, 6 a.m., got to Stockton, where the Stockton Slap was originally created. And, so I was there all day up until about 3 o'clock. Then I left there, drove to Sacramento because I had some of my students and some of my coaches also competing in some super fights, in an event up there. So that was great. Had a good time. They went 4-0 at the super fights. And then we won a couple first place, couple second place. I have to be a little bragger about the students that we have. We have a good clique, man. I love it. Great times. But hey, enough about what I was doing. Let's talk about how Podcast Dave was getting punched in the mouth by his
Podcast Dave got punched in the mouth by his neighbor.
Let's talk about it.
Obviously, his neighbor has been listening to Podcast Dave and said, you know what, this needs to be done.
His neighbor listens to us. His neighbor probably listens to it and how much we want to do it. He's like, you know what, I'm going to do this for Josh. Boom. I'm going to do this for John. Boom. I love this neighbor. You know what? I want this guy's number on speed dial. Anytime Dave gets out of hand, hey, will you go next door? Take care of Dave for me.
I asked Podcast Dave, I said, why the hell did he punch you in the mouth? He goes, well, he said I was choking him. I'm like, hold it. What do you mean he says you were choking? This is what we were drinking. I don't really remember that.
Jeez.
Yeah, I do not.
I love it. Podcast Dave posts a picture of him with, running, or well, not running, but like a picture of him after his run. It shows what he ran. And then what did you say? You said something. What did you say?
I breathe weird.
You breathe weird. I said you also run slow, apparently. I was like, you obviously run slow, apparently, to these numbers.
That's a good pace. 8 minutes a mile?
About?
8 minutes a mile for 5 miles?
Minutes? My son can run 8 minutes a mile. He can walk 8 minutes a mile. What
Dude,
are you talking about?
For 5 miles? Oh, come on, man. That's a good pace.
An 8-minute mile is a good pace. That's not bad.
Thank you,
all,
John.
Dave.
For who?
Hey, excuse me. What is he? A professional runner?
No,
an 8-minute a mile pace is a good
if you
pace.
Listen
That's
to
what
Dave,
you should be running at about.
No, it's not. It should be like
God,
below. It should be like around 7.
Oh,
I think a minute's a long time.
For 5 miles?
You're right. A minute is a long time.
What are you talking about?
Especially when your neighbor's punching you in the mouth.
Yeah. Maybe you just got to have your neighbor chase you around. That'd be great. Oh, jeez.
I would whoop him I would whoop him normally, but
in what?
Well, obviously not.
In what? You watch too much WWE.
He's like 45. I have to take it easy with him.
I guess it's age. That's the reason that Dave would win. He's younger.
No.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
age
that makes
has always had
sense.
a lot to do with it. Once you get past elementary and kindergarten, kind of changes. Doesn't matter.
John, remember what happened to Nikita? Oh, I'm gonna beat him because I'm younger.
Yeah, I'm
Barzola
younger.
just mopped the floor.
That's what that youth will do.
That's what happens. We have fighters that sit in meetings and say, "You know what? I'm gonna win because I'm younger."
I'm younger.
It doesn't work that way.
Younger.
First off, yeah, I mean. You're not impressing anybody with 8-minute miles, by the way, because you're younger. If you're younger, you should be running faster than 8-minute miles, my friend. All right. Well, hey, enough of picking on Podcast Dave. We're going to jump into some fights. Let's get into this PFL. I thought overall there were some good fights. I didn't agree with some of the decisions, but overall there were some good fights. John, let's go to the main event. Let's talk.
We had talked about Capozola against.
Capozola?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm waiting.
No, go.
Capozola. I'm sorry. Capozola against Austin. I mean, Capozola won their championship last year, and you look and you go,
yeah.
Being the champion, you would think that his opponent would have been a little bit. I don't know. It's weird because I don't understand how they come up with their pairings in their system to get into the playoffs and stuff. But if you're the guy that was a champion, this is a great fight for you to start off with, a quick one. He did exactly what we said he was going to do. He walked through him. He just walked through him.
Yeah,
he just beat him down.
He's tough, man. He's tough. He's got big shots. Once he gets on top, and he's also very heavy with his pressure.
And his ground game, overall, he's good.
Oh, he's good.
No,
he's good. He's aggressive too.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Is it once Austin started moving backwards and getting put on his back foot, he wasn't the same fighter, and that happened within the first 10 seconds. It was like you already knew that Capelosa was going to be the one.
Are you giving him 10 seconds there?
Yeah, about that. That's how long it takes for them to walk out to the center of the cage.
He walked out of the center. I'm going backwards.
Yeah, it was. But Austin,
and I don't blame him. Look, Capelosa, the dude is a good stand-up fighter. Yeah. He's got good technique. He moves well. He sets things up. It's so hard to explain to someone what it's like when someone understands movement and footwork and how they continue to put you in a position where you feel like you can't get your shots off and they're always a little bit off of that angle that you want them to be at. Mm-hmm. It's hard to explain that to people, but that's exactly what he does, and you could see it with Austin. Just wasn't comfortable.
No, Capelosa was putting some good pace. He was throwing some big heat, which also put him even more nervous, making him on his back foot. Just one of those situations, but once the damage was done, he got to the top position, was able to do some work. So, and good stoppage. All right, next. And once fighters start just covering up, not trying to do anything, just covering.
They're saying, I'm going to stay here until you stop the fight because I can't. I don't have an answer for this guy. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to tap.
The fight that
but I am.
Yeah. The fight that I was looking forward to, there was a couple of them. The ones that I was specifically looking forward to was obviously the Chris Wade and Lance Palmer fight.
Yep.
Now, Lance has won it twice before. He didn't win it last year, but I went through some things.
He didn't win a fight last year.
Yeah, How did he get in the tournament?
He didn't.
He had to have won to get in.
He didn't get in the tournament.
I thought he did.
Go pull up Lance Palmer's record last year. Well, excuse me. Pull up his record, not last year. Yeah.
No. Oh, so Bubba was to get. I thought Bubba
he
was
lost
in
twice,
or maybe to get in was against Bubba.
Well, no, that was his first round. He lost to Bubba, and then he lost to Mulvid, who ended up winning the whole thing. So it's not like he lost to bums.
No.
He fought good fighters, but he didn't even get in the playoffs as they have it.
Yeah. I won. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. So Bubba was the first round then to get in.
Yep.
Is what you're saying.
Yep.
Got it. All right. So look, I thought Lance looked a lot better than he did last year. He had better combinations with Bubba, or not with Bubba. Sorry,
with Chris.
With Chris Wade. With Chris. Chris looked good. The one thing that really drives me crazy, he had a hard time. Lance had a hard time with the takedowns, but he was able to get them. Chris was also able to reverse a couple. Was able to reverse. The thing is, though, with Lance, it almost feels like he doesn't want to wrestle too much because he doesn't want to get tired. So the timing's got to be on point. You don't want to get tired against Chris Wade. Wade's got good pressure. He's got heavy hits. He seems kind of big for the weight when I compared him. When you see him in the cage next to each other against Lance. I know Lance's not a big guy, but Lance.
Yeah, but Wade used to be lightweight.
Yeah, that's true. Lance, though, his combinations looked pretty good last night, John. Landing the straight left, throwing some good stuff. And I thought if he'd had a little bit more output, a little bit more confidence, a little bit more more output, more confidence, I think he would have ended up not stealing the fight, but it was a good fight. Rounds were close. He could have stole a round, and what happens is that starts to really build on the confidence level. That changes how the fight takes place. Chris just started realizing he's not going to try to wrestle as much. He's throwing ones and twos, maybe a three occasionally, but not really doing a whole lot more than that. Stepping and letting Chris Wade kind of push him backwards from step to step. That was kind of the downfall, I think, of what Lance was going on. He just got to have confidence, a little bit more confidence in throwing the big shots, throwing in combination, and mixing his wrestling and his combinations together a little bit better. It was either he was wrestling or he was striking. It wasn't the two things together. I mean, that guy can fucking wrestle, man.
But this is what we talk about, when we say after this is over, they're going to go back and they're going to watch this and they're going to wish that they put just a little bit more out there. When we say put a little bit more out there, we're talking about output. Had thrown just a little bit. it's a matter of not waiting for what seems to be that better situation. You just got to start throwing those combinations and putting things out there, because eventually if you put enough out there, they're going to start to touch your opponent. They're going to at least make it to where it's difficult for them to be offensive. Output's a huge part of fighting, man. You take a look at some of the fights that took place, and you can see where output was the difference in who wins the fight. And I think that's what happened with Chris Wade.
I mean, that's a big reason why Max is so successful, man.
Oh.
His output is unmatched.
Crazy.
Much. I mean, the way he just puts out so much that fighters have a hard time keeping pace. And so in that situation, he just not enough output. He's like doing just enough, it seems like, to get by an inch round. And he's a fucking stud. He can wrestle the shit out of people. But he's got to start putting it all together a little bit better. I know he's won it before in the past. But, look, your career goes in waves, man. Sometimes you're on, sometimes you're not. You got to build it back up. When you take long layoffs, it's like starting over sometimes. So, how do you say his name again? Loughnane?
Yeah,
They kept saying
Loughnane.
Loughnane. They kept saying Loughnane last.
He told me
when I was
Loughnane
watching.
long ago, so I'm going with
Loughnane.
Loughnane.
Anyways, look, this was one of those decisions. It was a technical decision. So there was a clash of heads after halfway through the third round. But regardless of the decision, I had Brennan win in the third round.
Yeah,
So I could see the 29-28. But what I didn't have was him winning the fight.
But it was close. It was close.
It was a close fight. I'm not gonna argue the situation.
robbery.
I'm like, yeah, it wasn't. There's no robbery here. But I did have Kudo winning the fight. That's so weird to call someone Kudo.
What? Kudos to you.
Yeah. But I did have Kudo winning the fight. He seemed like he was the one that was landing the cleaner shots, the harder shots, and even though he was kind of a little bit more on the outside, hitting some shots, but I had Kudo winning the fight. I thought he won the first 2 rounds. Now, like I said, close fight, but to me, Kudo was doing a little bit more, landing cleaner, harder shots, and so that's why I gave it to him. Look, I like Brennan. We talked about him pumping him up before this last week's show. We talked about it leading into this fight. We love watching him fight. I didn't come down to this and go, hey, yeah, I thought Brennan was winning the rounds dominantly, which he wasn't. And I didn't have him winning the fight. It was a close fight, though, so I'm not mad at whichever way it goes. So I'm looking forward to seeing where he goes next. The one that shocked me the most, though, was Pahea, or however you want to call his name, Pahea. I think they were saying Pahea.
Against
So
Jones?
Pahea on there, though, because I've known Jamil Jones forever, because he wrestled in North Idaho College. He lived up there with Trevor. He was training with Trevor Prengley for a while. He possesses a lot of power.
Oh,
he's explosive double legs.
He's a tank.
Yeah, I'm surprised he wasn't a running back in college, for Arizona, I don't know, for LSU or some shit. But he's like probably what? I mean, maybe 5'6". Everyone's 5'6".
He's a little bit more than 5'6".
He is. He's a little bit bigger than 5'6". But his legs, you got to talk about tree trunks on his fucking legs. But there was
timing is everything.
Yes, it was quick up the middle. Quick up the middle. But then when you're dealing with somebody like Ferreira, the length, what is he? He's like 6'8", 6'7", 6'8".
6'6" or something.
Yeah, he's tall as hell. I was like, oh, maybe because Jones is small. No. This guy is tall.
Oh, so 6'8".
How tall is he? 6'8".
6'8".
Yeah, he seemed like it. He seemed like a
problem.
big ass dude. Who else was that? Remember Gam McGee was what? 6'10" or 6'8"?
No, Gam McGee was 6'11".
Jeez.
Yeah, Gam McGee was
Semi
tall.
Schultz was 7'2".
No, he's about 6'11", 7 foot.
Was he?
Yeah.
And then then Tim Sylvia was what?
Tim Sylvia was
6'6". 6'8".
Yeah, he was 6'8" also.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, monsters.
Jeez, that's insane. This guy's right up there with them. And so, anyways, there was a quick little push kick up the middle, didn't land, and then Jones stepped back, and then you could tell he was lowering his level. He got uncomfortable with that long reach.
Yeah.
Stepped back, lowered the level, and then shot in, and then he threw the push kick up the middle again. It was like a snapping little front kick, and Jones ran right into the shin, and it was over. He just jumped on him, put him to sleep. He was still kind of there. Jones was still kind of there, like fishing for the leg. Couple shots, boom, boom, boom to the side, all done. All said and done. The other fight, though, John, was the Bubba Jenkins fight. The rest of them, I was like, okay. And then the Moraes fight was pretty good as well. But the Bubba Jenkins fight, because we were really interested on how much he had progressed last year. from the year before. And
He's
now
done
this
great.
year, though, he's looking good. He's looking good. Combinations are coming out more fluidly. He's looking a lot stronger on his feet. I mean, overall, I think I've said this. I really think he's got a chance to make a run. The thing is, I feel like after last year, he kind of got over that hump where he beat Lance.
Yeah.
But then that's like, okay, I crushed that mountain.
You got to keep crushing them, though. That's
yeah, you got to keep going. They don't stop.
Yep.
You know, like especially when you're in that bracket, when you're in that tournament style bracket, the next guy is going to be harder. He's at a better point in his game right now. Then the guy after that's going to be even harder. So he's got his work cut out for him because the division he's in is stacked. He's got Lance, he's got Wade, he's got Movlid. He's got some good fighters that are in there that he's going to have to deal with.
Yes, he does. And being a one-eyed fighter is not an easy thing. And he was a one-eyed fighter in that fight. But look at Bosniak is good. Bubba Jenkins, tough as hell, came out there. Look, he's a problem based upon his wrestling for everyone, but he can't rely too much on it. He's going to have to be in that position where he's a stand-up fighter at times. Pull people in, use your hands to get to the takedown. If he does that, because if there's one thing that we see with Bubba is he does tend to slow down. If he has to wrestle a lot, he slows down. And so he's just got to be in that position where his takedowns are not sapping his energy. He's getting the takedown based upon his timing, doing things at the right time. It's not hard for him. And because once he's on top, the dude's a beast.
Yeah. No, I agree. This show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. Use our promo code weighing in, and MyBookie.ag will give you a little extra spending cash with your first initial deposit, your very first initial deposit. And guess what? This weekend coming up, you've got Justin Gaethje fighting Charles Oliveira. Go to mybookie.ag, use that promo code weighing in, use that QR code right there. We're going to help walk you through it on our midweek show on every single fight and which ones you guys should probably put some money down on, which ones you should maybe avoid, and how you can make money in the over and the under, and all the ways that we can help you become rich like Big John. Okay, go to mybookie.ag, use that promo code weighing in. All right, well, now we're going to make the change over to the UFC, and we're going to talk about, the main event was fire. But, John, first I got to mention, for those of you guys who were listening to us a second ago, because we were actually stopping to say, like, hey, I was like, John, what's that noise? Remember, I told you guys, John's moving into a tin can. That is rain in Tennessee. That was the noise of rain in Tennessee. It was like, I thought there was static in it or something was going on with the Wi-Fi. I'm like, what's going on over there? I'm like, John, what's that noise? He's like, that's the rain.
Dude, well, it's funny because you live in different parts of the country. It's like when you live in California, they go, "Oh, it's raining." No, that's not fucking rain.
Sprinkling.
That's fucking sprinkles. When you want to know what rain's like, come on, baby. I mean, because it comes down in sheets, and it's like when it's like, you go, "Oh man, I hope this building stays up."
So I have friends that live in Dallas.
It rains hard at times too.
I have friends that live in Dallas, and I have a place there, and so they send me videos of the hail ball, and the hails are like balls are like probably the size of a golf ball.
Yeah,
you know, some of them are like oval shape as well. They can be they're pretty big. So it's funny that and they're like, cars have to pull over because if you keep driving, it dents your car.
Oh yeah,
they're like, we pull over, we try, and there's no overpasses there in the northern Dallas area, so everyone's kind of like trying to pull under a tree. They're trying to find
something
places
to block,
so
block it a little bit. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, John. Well, take us away on the UFC card. Let's go. Rob Font and Marlon Vera.
Like you said, let's start from the top because Chito Vera against Rob Font. Man, what a fight they put on. What a go as far as looking at. Rob Font came out. He was looking good, and he was landing that jab, and he was establishing, and you saw he had Vera, who likes to come forward. He had him actually on his back foot, having to circle out a lot. But you could see something in there that Vera was like, it's all right. And we talk about it all the time. You don't have to win every minute of the fight. You have to win the fight. And that is exactly what Chito Vera did. Because here's the difference. When a lot of people are like, yeah, but Rob Font, he landed more shots. He landed more volume. But first round, Rob Font wins. Go to the second. He's winning it. until Chito Vera hurts him.
Yep.
Chito Vera, it comes in a position where he has the ability to possibly end the fight. That's why the judge is going to go in that direction. And he did it in every round from that first round on. He hurt him in the second round. He hurt him in the third round. He hurt him in the fourth round. And he even hurt him in the last round, the fifth round. Look at this is understand, people, when we talk about fights and we say those significant strike numbers that the UFC puts up there, okay, that's fine. They can put them up there. I want you to see what a significant strike is, because take a look at Chito Vera and look at him at the end of that fight and look at Rob Font. Rob Font had more strikes landed, more significant strikes, and he got fucked up by Chito Vera, who landed the bigger, heavier strikes, and that's what the judges go with. That's what counts in fighting. It's not a game of tag. I tagged you more than you tagged me. That therefore I win. This is the perfect fight to demonstrate that. Chito Vera was on point in this fight. He landed the big shots. He always put it in a position where he had a chance to possibly end the fight. Rob Font, tough as hell. I'd say nothing, in any way to say, put him, in a position where, oh man, you should have done better. Dude, he was fighting his ass off. Man, you take a look at that man. He's a different looking individual at the end of that. That dude was in pain from the second round on. I mean pain. And he kept going out there and kept putting it on as good as he could. It's just, look at Chito Vera right now. He's in a rhythm. He's in a flow, and he believes. He does believe. And, we talk about it all the time, Josh. Confidence, he's got it. And he is there to whip your ass no matter how he does. The one thing that I was surprised with, I actually thought that he would, at times, look to take Font down. He's got a good grappling game. He didn't do it at all.
Font should have taken him down.
Yeah. And it was like, even when he hurt Font, and had him down on his back, just sat there and kicked at his legs at times. Obviously when he hurt him and it was near the end of the round, he went down and, tried to ground and pound. But I was surprised that his game plan was, I'm going to keep this on the feet as much as I can. I'm not going to try to take him down. I think I can beat him on the feet. That's not normally the game plan that you're going to have going against Rob Font.
Yeah. What I saw, John, was, here's the thing, young fighters, be very cautious about the way that Chito fought, because he was losing the fight until the very end of almost every round. He lost the first round. He was losing convincingly the second round, and then he rocked him and hurt him at the end. Yep. Then in the third, same thing going on, and then he rocked him and hurt him again. That's not a way to always win fights. Output is normally the way you win fights. We just talked about it from the PFL. You have to have more output. Lance Palmer needed to have more output if he was going to win the fight. Max Holloway has made a career out of having more output because that's what he does. He touches you and touches you. Nick and Nate Diaz, that was their game plan, was to barely touch you. And then when they hurt you a little bit, then they would ramp it up. They would try to knock you out. In this situation, Rob Font was winning 3.5 to almost 4 minutes of every round, and then he got rocked, and then he got dropped, then he got almost to the point of a stoppage. As soon as he hit the ground, I can't remember what round it was. Might have been in round 3. When he got dropped and he went down, Chito jumped on him with some nasty elbows.
That was
and Chito was throwing the heat. For myself, I was never really great at elbowing. Sure, I could post my hand down and elbow you, but I was never someone that could posture up and drop my weight down on you because I was a beanpole. So I didn't have a lot of weight to go down on. But my elbows were never that great. I knew that, so I didn't throw him a lot. This guy, he looks like he's trying to take your head off.
Dude, even in the stand-up, his elbows are sharp.
It was nasty. I'm watching him throw these, John. I'm like, holy shit. It seems like he's got not just his weight behind it, but just the power of the elbow, the form. Looks like he's trying to chop your head off. Yeah. And he had some nasty elbows in one of those times when he got dropped. But like you said, for a young fighter, be cautious because the rounds can slip away if you keep thinking you can get that shot. Chito was able to keep rocking it. Maybe he saw something in Rob's defense to be able to exploit it every single time. He saw what Rob was doing. Most fighters know, though, too, that Rob's mainly a boxer. He's got good kicks. He's talented as well. He is a very well-rounded fighter. Doesn't get the credit he deserves in terms of the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu as well. He's good. He's no slouch. And so no slouch on the ground and the wrestling area either. We all know he's good on the feet. With his boxing is on point. Maybe going to the body a little bit more to keep Chito a little bit more loyal. But look, when you're dealing with someone who kicks a lot, the kicks up the middle, the different styles of kicks is really, really what makes what made the change in this fight. It wasn't just the push kick up the middle. It wasn't just the spinning back kick in the second round. You started kind of to see the very first spinning back kick, I think, in the second round. You started kind of to see that Chito felt a little bit more comfortable after that because Rob was walking him down, and then Chito hit that spinning back kick right to the gut, and then Rob started backing away. And when he started backing away, Chito was
hurt.
like, all right. He's like, all right, I got you, buddy. I got you. And then he lost the next minute and a half or 2 minutes of the round.
Yep.
But he was still able to kind of push Rob around a little bit, and then Rob started pushing back and landed some good shots, and then boom, he hits him and rocks him again at the end of the second round. That to me is what stole the round. And that was the story of the fight.
Yeah.
Almost the whole fight, John.
Yeah.
I mean, not to take anything away from Rob Font, man. He fought his fucking ass off. And I was really, and I even talked about this last week, I was concerned. I was concerned on how he was going to come in. The fight before this, I mean, he got pieced up.
Yeah.
You know, the calf kick was there, all the other stuff. He took some big shots. I was concerned for him coming into this fight. That fight didn't even seem like it bothered him anymore. He came in, great game plan. First round, he ran away with the first round. He was running away with the second round. He looked fabulous, man. He looked good. Just Chito was on a different level. At the end of every round, he was there. And you know what makes me nervous not for Chito, but for that weight class? Chito's going to be there in the fourth and the fifth, like not even tired.
Oh.
He came back after the fourth round and the fifth round. And he was like, yeah, give me some more. I was like, holy shit. This kid's got a gas tank, and he's a goer, man. He's a goer.
No doubt about it. I think it was Gian put something. I think he's getting tired. I go, nope.
No, he's not getting tired.
Not even close. I was like, man, no, he is on a. You talk about driving down the freeway and you set that cruise control. He was in cruise control as far as you watch. I mean, even just think of it. Jason Herzog is trying to push him back because he's trying to come back. When you're tired, you're not sitting there trying to push like that. Doesn't happen, man. He was just Cheeto's got that thing now where he believes that he can beat everyone. He believes in the system that he's using. He believes in his coach. He believes in all of it. And man, that is so huge for a fighter. It's hard to explain how important all of that is, but it is key to being that guy that can fight for the title and win that title. And I'm telling you right now, no one is going to want to have Chito Vera standing across from him in that cage as far as, oh, this is going to be an easy fight. They all know, oh, this is going to be fucking brutal because that's what he brings. That calf kick that he was hitting Font with, it had an effect. He was knocking him off balance every time. Some of them were hard kicks, and the hard kicks to the body and all of that. Just a beautiful overall performance. You're right about be careful of, thinking that, hey, I can steal this round, but he did every time, But yeah, you're right. For most fighters, that's not the way to game plan, and I'm not sure that he game planned that way. But man, it was working. Whatever he decided to do, he was doing it.
Well, what I liked was Rob was also hitting that uppercut really well. Yeah. And the one thing that Chito we didn't give any credit for yet is he's got a chin. Oh yeah, Chito's got a chin. Oh yeah, because he took some big shots. There was a mark on him, John.
Well, it's funny because he was getting a little marked up. If you watch the fight, first round, he's got some redness around his face where he took a couple of shots, and a couple of them were the uppercuts. The jab was getting to him, the uppercut was hitting him, and as the fight went on, the uppercut didn't hit him as much, and he just blended out. And it's like at the end of it, looked like, man, he doesn't have a mark on him, man. It's crazy as far as because Rob was touching him. There's no doubt about it. You look at that significant strike stat, and it's he was getting hit, but he wasn't getting hit with the same things that he was hitting Font with. And the damage. You talked about that one elbow at the end of the round. you saw the goose egg that it frickin' that one elbow started. He started. We talk about lumps. He had some lumps on him, man. He was not looking good. I guarantee you today, Rob Font is not looking pretty. It's a nasty look.
Yeah. So I guess if you guys are listening to us, the takeaway is that look, when you guys come to us because I read the comments, John doesn't. When you guys come to us in the comments, you guys are so stupid. You guys are so biased that the copy strikes numbers or significant strike numbers, they don't mean shit.
Nothing.
They don't mean
they
shit.
Can.
They can. That's true.
If both of them are just doing volume striking and no one gets hurt, they'll make a difference. But this is the perfect example of a fight where I've got one fighter who's landing with more volume, and I've got a fighter that's landing with heavy strikes that are damaging. And this is where at the end of the fight, even if you hadn't watched that fight, take a picture of both guys. Who do you think people are going to say who won the fight?
Yeah.
Nick Diaz had a fight with Scott Smith long ago. It was in Strikeforce. I think he landed over 400 or threw over 400 strikes, landed over 200 and some. And he actually got rid of him. It didn't go the distance. And you look and you go, that's volume striking, but it's also at the end of it damaging strikes. So yeah, he wins the volume and he won the damage at the end. But if Scott Smith is hurting Nick Diaz in that fight to where he's almost putting him out of the fight, doesn't matter how many volume strikes Nick throws, those damaging strikes are what the judges are going to give credit to, because fight-ending sequences, that's what they're looking for. And when you see Vera hurting Font, getting stanky leg at times, getting hurt, going down, that's a fight-ending sequence. That's the most important thing you can do in the fight. That's what he was doing.
Yeah, the facial stuff doesn't always paint the picture either. You go back
no,
and
not
look
always.
at the Dan Henderson versus the Bisping fight.
Yep.
Bisping looked like a
for
wrecking
2
ball.
rounds.
Yeah,
that the picture was painted. Then there was 3 rounds of Dan being tired. It is what it is.
Yeah. But overall, I gotta be honest, it was probably one of the best fights I've seen in a long time. We've had some good fights. Don't get me wrong. We've had a lot of good fights. But to sit and watch these two guys play it out, and Rob winning every minute of every round except for the last minute, last 30 seconds, last 45 seconds, whatever it is. I think in rounds 2 and 3, he didn't rock him until 30 seconds left in the round.
Yeah, 35, 40 seconds.
Yeah,
right.
even less, I think.
Yeah.
So for young fighters, don't bank on that. Just Cheeto was on point, and it was in his favor that night. So be cautious. Now, here's another fight, John, with Andrei Arlovski getting his 23rd win.
Yeah.
So he's tied for the most wins, I think, in the UFC, which is crazy. He's been fighting a long time, and I'm surprised that him, Donald, and Jim, right? All 3 of them, Jim Miller.
Yep.
They're the 3 that have the most wins.
Yep.
I'm surprised that that's all they have. I don't get me wrong, it's a lot. That's a lot. I'm not trying to
say really.
In no way, and in no way am I, because they've fought so much. Think about it. You said the other day, Andrei Arlovski was his fight was in what, UFC 32? 28. To just 23 wins?
Well, he left. I want you to think about this.
That's true.
Andre was actually out of the UFC.
That's
he
true.
went to Affliction, did World Series of Fighting, did Strikeforce, did all these different organizations also. So he was gone for, I want to say 7 years, 6, 7 years.
Was he in Strikeforce?
Yeah, he fought in the remember when they had the tournament that Cormier won? He was in that bad boy.
He was?
I believe so.
I don't think so.
I think he was.
I think he was in the World Series of Fighting.
Go back. Let's see.
2010.
So. Oh wow!
Strikeforce, Antonio Silva.
Wow.
Strikeforce, Sergey Karatanov.
Shit. I don't remember that.
You are just horrible.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Those people are lying.
Fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, dude, he's everywhere. Brett Rogers.
Wow.
Look at that. Boom, boom,
Jeez,
boom.
man. Jeez.
ONE FC. Do you remember when he fought Tim Sylvia in ONE FC? And he landed
I don't remember.
You don't remember that? He landed the kick on Tim when he was down, and then they somehow said, oh, yeah, but that was illegal. What do you mean? You guys allow that? Yeah, whatever.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
I guess not in that fight they didn't.
Well, they did want us, when I was working with them over there, they wanted us to stop calling it being soccer kicked to the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said, no, you can't say that anymore. We had to call it a technical head kick.
Okay. I like that.
So they're making the adjustments. I didn't agree with the decision though.
I like how people say, because they'll get in there, I thought soccer kicks are illegal. What are you talking about? Soccer kick. Someone gets kicked to the body on the ground. I don't give a shit what kind of kick they do. As long as it's not a stomp, it's legal. You want to call it a soccer kick? Soccer kicks to the body on the ground, they're legal. So it's funny when people, I thought a soccer kick, you can't do it any time. Yes, you can.
I have a question. Can I stomp your thigh? Like when you're on the ground, can I stomp your
Negative. No, in fact, you kind of saw that with Jason Herzog in that Rob Font, Cheeto Vera, because Cheeto started doing it. He says, don't stomp. Because a grounded fighter, once the fighter's on the ground, you cannot even stomp their foot now. Stomps to a grounded fighter are illegal. You can't even do their foot. Can't even do their hand.
Rule. That's like, now I want that rule changed, just like this fucking 12-6 elbow. That's stupid too. I want those two rules. I understand I think you should be able to stomp the feet and the legs. You can't stomp, maybe not the guts and the body and the head. I get that.
Now you're gonna break the body into quarters. Come on, what are you doing? You can't do that.
Stomp. Yeah.
If you want to say
I actually don't mind if I stomp the hands and as long as I don't stomp the head, I should be able to stomp from the neck down.
You remember with Sakuraba used to do the Mongolian stomp. We used to call it.
Yeah, where he jumped up.
He
in
would
the air.
jump up. That's what they did.
Yeah.
They didn't want that. They were like, oh,
no, but you know who did it the best though? Not the Mongolian jump thing, but it was Shogun. Shogun's the guy that used to grab the ankles and then stomp between the legs.
Yep.
Or he'd stomp like the head between the legs.
Yeah.
He was a nasty fucking fighter in Pride, man.
He was.
He was nasty. Him and his brother both, they were some of the most vicious motherfuckers in the world.
Yep.
They were nasty, John. Yep. They came up with some of the just nastiest stuff. It bugged the shit out of me going, man, I can't imagine grabbing someone and just like sliding my leg between their fucking legs and just stomping their face like from the chin. They would slide it up and so the heel would hit the person in the chin and like almost decapitate them. They look like little fucking choir boys. But then you see them fight, you're like, yeah, you're not the kid I thought you were.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they're awesome.
That was the best part of Vanderlei. He never looked like a choir boy.
No, that's true. That's true. I loved Shogun, man. I loved watching him fight. I think he was probably my favorite fighter in Pride for a long time.
He was fun to watch.
And then he came to the UFC, and even I know he won the title and stuff, he still wasn't the same fighter.
No, wasn't the same.
He'd already
never the same.
Yeah, he wasn't this. He was never the same. Yeah. He was kind of starting to have a little bit of a downslope in Pride, also.
You remember his first fight in the UFC? See,
was it Forrest? It wasn't Forrest. Who was it?
It was Forrest. UFC 76.
Yes,
yeah.
He lost.
He lost to Forrest Griffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what happens though. Remember, we talk about it all the time. Fighters that come to new promotions, they don't feel like home yet. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel right. Unless you and somebody else are both kind of having your first fight, it's like, okay, we're both, but if you're fighting someone who's been there for a while, like Shogun, or if you're a veteran coming to a new promotion that you've watched these guys fight before, but you're not part of that clique, it feels a little weird, man. Like when I went to Bellator, I was like, it felt kind of weird fighting guys that had fought there. It felt kind of like these guys, like with Chandler, and I was supposed to fight Chandler. I did fight Patricky, but it's like you still felt like a visitor.
Yeah.
Even though, like it's like I knew everyone that worked there. They all worked for Strikeforce. You know what I mean? I knew everyone, but it was like, sure, it felt a little bit like home, but it didn't feel like home when it came to the fights. Yeah. So it's a little weird. But yeah, I mean, now it's obviously home. So
a little more home.
All right, look, I didn't agree with the Andre Arlovsky. We went off on a little tangent there, John.
I didn't either. And I wanted Andre to win
because
I love Andre. He's a great guy. I thought Jake Collier actually won the fight, but it wasn't. I thought Jake landed the better shots there, and this is the difference. The Andre Arlovsky of today doesn't really throw with a ton of power. He throws a lot of volume. He tries to touch you and skip out, reset, come back and do it again. Touch you, skip out, reset, come back and do it again. Collier was putting enough pressure that Andre was having a little bit of problem with, what he wanted to do. And there were times when Andre, touched Collier really well. I just thought that overall Collier had the better incident. I thought it was a close fight. I had it 29-28. I thought Andre won one of the rounds, but I actually had Collier winning, but it's okay. I'm happy for Andre, but Collier fought a good fight. He fought a smart fight.
Yeah.
I thought overall really did well.
Yeah, I thought he fought a very smart fight. He landed some good shots. I mean, the two of them had some good exchanges. It was the wrestling that kind of the press against the fence, the control, that kind of what made me feel like he was winning some of the exchanges too. I didn't agree with the decision. Like I said, though, I'm happy for Andre. He's tied now with Cowboy and Jim Miller and those guys. But what's very impressive is that he did it after being away for so long. Like you said, he fought in Strikeforce, fought in Affliction, fought in One, fought all these other places, fought in World Series of Fighting. And then
Dave, look up the time that he left the UFC and came back. See what that was. Yeah, it is impressive when you take a look, and it's impressive. He's 43 years of age.
Yeah.
Now, now he's on a
2008.
6-1.
When did he come back to the UFC?
When did he leave?
He left in 2008.
He left in 2008. Okay, and when did he come back?
When did he come back?
He came back in 2014.
Jeez,
that's a long time. 6 years.
Yeah.
Fought Shaw.
Good job on the math there, John. Oh man. I don't know. I don't want to sound like a hater. The lighter guys, it's harder for them to do it. To do 23 fights like this and get wins, because speed kills, and they start to slow down. You find out they start losing. Yep. Heavyweights can get away with it; they can fight longer. But regardless, 23 is a lot, John. 23 is a lot.
It's a lot.
So good stuff on him, man.
The whole thing is, he says he's looking for another title shot, and things like that, and you go, I just don't see that happening. That's not in the equation. But I have no problem if you want to continue to fight and you're winning, go ahead. But I don't think that the title is part of what is in Andre's future. But if that's what he's trying for, good for him. I hope he makes it. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. This young kid, man, Brito, he's a stud.
Boy, he throws some heat, man. Does he not?
Yep.
He was.
You know who else throws some heat?
Sizzle.
This other guy, Gabriel Green, down at the bottom, he throws a lot of heat too.
Oh yeah, I've known Gabe Green.
We'll talk about Brito first, but I mean, man, I wanted to see more because this fight seemed like it was going to be good after they got past the first little introductions of some first exchanges. I just wanted to see more. This was one of those fights like this could be fight of the night for sure. Let's get after it. I want to see it, and it ended quick. But this nature of the beast.
Yeah, this is one of those. Look, Andre Fili, that's touchy. He touches people with a lot of shots. He just, Brito was throwing heat, and that one hit him, kind of clubbed him behind.
Like Dave's neighbor.
Yeah,
like how
clubbed him behind the ear a little bit. He went down, and you look and you go, shit happens, man. It's not, it's not that it's too early in the fight for it to say, he was going to get, run over by him. You don't know what was going to happen. He just got hit, and it happens. That's part of fighting. Chalk it up to, wasn't my night. Let's come back and do it again. But Brito, power.
Yeah, he's got power. I mean, there's not much to talk about. It's 41 seconds.
Yeah.
He landed a clean shot, followed up with some big shots. Ref stoppage. Nice work.
Grant Dawson against Jared Gordon. I was very impressed with Grant. Now, and he said something that's actually true. Very underrated for the weight class as far as what he's done. He had the one fight. Do me a favor. Look up Grant Dawson's record. Because they kept on saying, he's undefeated since this. He is, but he had a draw. And hold on, against Ricky Glenn, and that was the fight. So
he's still undefeated, John.
Yeah, that was the fight that was a majority draw, and that was the one he won the first 2 rounds, and then he was getting beat up in the third, and then he was in a Darce choke, and if that if it had not rung the bell, he was going to end up going out. So that was very close to losing. He didn't. He got the draw. But you take a look, and, man, he really, in my opinion, because Jared Gordon's a good fighter. He's a very well-rounded. Man, Grant Dawson, the way he took the back on him multiple times and controlled the position, just beautifully done. I thought he was doing really well when he was working with James Krause at Glory. He looks even better right now, and sometimes you need that change to elevate your game.
Now, right?
Sanford.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. You're right. No. Sorry.
ATT.
You're right. Mike Brown. Yeah. And sometimes you need that change to make it to where, things just click in a little bit more. And it really seems like it has. He looked good. He takes a lot of shots at times. He'll take those shots, but he's tough as hell, man. And he's technically really good. And his ground attack was very nice. And the way he got the choke at the end, beautifully done. Beautifully done, man.
Can I ask you this? Where did he wrestle at? Because he's got pretty good wrestling.
I don't know. You're right.
Can you look that up? Yeah, his wrestling is pretty good. He was making some great transitions. Went from the body lock, dropped down on the legs, turned the leg a little bit, and then restructured, kept his feet moving, drove him back to the fence. He did some really good stuff and some nice work in the transitions. So
he's with the Mannequin Top Team.
No,
yeah,
I know.
we know that. See if you can look up. See if
this
he
is when you know
anywhere.
Dave hasn't been listening to what we're talking about. We just said he's from American Top Team.
That's all right.
I know, but
If it doesn't, the problem for Dave, if it doesn't say it on SureDog, he doesn't know where to go.
Get it. He's so lost. He's so lost. I love
There
it.
you
Does it
go.
say where he wrestled? Why don't you look it up while we finish talking about it?
I love it.
I thought he looked good. But look, Darren Elkins as well. Same type of game plan. Big shots, come in, wrestle, control, hooks, back, mount. He was all over his opponent, man.
Tristan Connolly is a dynamite grappler. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
All right. The guy's really good. And Darren Elkins showed how good he is in taking his back multiple times. Darren Elkins is just that guy. Just look at him and you go, man, I cringe every time you fight because I know that there's going to be damage. I don't know any other way to say it. He's got it tattooed across his chest. It's his name. There's going to be damage, and it's going to be not only damage to your opponent, it's going to be damage to you at times. And he had those moments. The dude's got a chin because he took some clean shots and just took a step and walked right back in. And you just look and you go, goddamn, Darren Elkins may not have the athletic, ability of some other guys. Might not have quite the speed and all that stuff. May not be as strong. You talk about a tenacious, there's a badger in him, man. There's that. He just will not stop. He just keeps coming. Because Tristan Connolly was in shape, ready to go with him, and figuring that he could, on the ground, he would be able to catch him, get him. Wasn't there for him. And, man, really just a beautiful exhibition by Darren Elkins in using a ground game to attack someone that is a ground fighter, putting shots on him at times, and going right back to what is your bread and butter. And, man, when he got the back, he took it beautifully. The transitions that he made, dude's slick.
You know what I was impressed with? Because Grant Dawson and Darren Elkins, they have that pressure.
Yeah.
Jared Gordon and Connolly both came in ready to go the distance, understanding that that's the kind of fighter they were fighting.
Yep.
They looked in great shape. Jared Gordon, up until the point where he got his back taken and he got choked, he was coming. He started landing some clean shots right before that all happened.
Yeah.
He was having some good exchanges on the feet. He looked pretty good in that third round. I was like, wow, this guy's still got some pop. Dawson was having a harder time getting him down a little bit. There was a little bit of a struggle. Then he got the takedown, gets to the back. But the Tristan Connolly, same thing. Still was fighting hard all the way up to the very end. That lets you know, like, they understand what it takes, and they just got to go back to the drawing board, make some improvements, and come back with a better game plan. That's really what it comes down to. But they still, the hardest part I feel for fighters is to understand that, especially for young fighters, that if you think you're doing enough cardio, you're not. If you think you're doing your cardio hard enough, you're not. Do it harder. Do more of it. Focus on that because your mindset will open up and your availability, your brain will absorb a lot more knowledge throughout training because you're fresh.
But Josh,
Your
I've been
brain's
running
not tired.
5 miles at 8 minutes a mile.
Yeah, that's not going to cut it, buddy. That's not going to cut it. Okay. I don't think I've ran an 8-minute mile since I was like 4th grade, maybe.
What, are you
3rd
like
grade.
9, 10?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Dave,
I don't think I've ever ran anything.
Dave, I'm
past
being
7
honest. I
minutes.
used to have to run for a qualification. I had to run an 8-minute mile, and that would kill me. I hated running. So 8 minutes, that's
I
great.
haven't ran, even now, I run under a 7-minute mile.
Yeah, even now.
Yeah, right.
Bro, I fucking smash it. Swear to you.
I want to see your
Under
5. I want to
7
see your
minutes,
5 mile
no
run
problem.
recorded. I want to see your 5 mile.
Under 7. Bro, you're saying 5 miles, 8 minutes. That's ridiculous. That's like my aunts and uncles run that shit.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
So how much do you bench press?
And
No, I can't. That's different. Hey,
No,
hey, you're not comparing apples to apples, buddy.
That's apples to apples, man.
No,
It's all
no,
about
no,
working
no.
out.
See, this is John trying to change the rules again midway through. This is John perfectly.
Dude, I'm the first person to put my hand up and
man.
say, I swear to God, I hate running.
Oh man,
Hated it my whole life.
Every time,
Horrible.
Every time John tries to change the rules like this as we're going, I want to dick punch him. He goes- I'm just gonna start calling podcast Dave's neighbor to fucking punch him in the mouth. Now I have a problem. Tanya, let me. Hey yo, Tanya, why don't you give me that guy's name so I can give him a call every time? All right.
So hold on,
see, what
Dave,
other
did you ever
fights on
come
here?
up with where Grant Dawson wrestled?
yeah, so it just says he wrestled in high school and finished at 40, a record of 40-8
Okay.
in Nebraska.
Wrestler, man. He's just using
Nebraska.
it well. Well, Nebraska.
Corn-fed Nebraska.
That's it.
Oh man! All right, Jotko or whatever. He looked pretty good.
He looked really
Mershart
good.
had no answers.
Dominant, no.
Mershart was even getting taken down.
It was
It
the
was-
third
it
round,
was-
man. Jocko went to that
Yeah.
takedown. You know, and you look, you go, where's the one place you don't want to be with Mershart? But he was already beat up. And he's tired.
Yeah, he was done. He was
You know?
tired. Romanov, I can't tell if he's the real deal or not. Sherman didn't give him anything to worry about.
We
But
said
he
that
looks
before.
like he's a stud.
We said
I
what
think
was
he's
going to happen in that one.
What's he? 16-0. Romanov's
Yep.
what? 16-0 now.
Yep. He's the real
Good
deal.
for him.
And
Francisco
look at, he's
Figueiredo.
that hybrid. He's not that monster.
No.
You know, you're talking about a 240-pound guy. So
Yeah, we've continued to say this for the longest time. Those fighters like Cain Velasquez was 238 when he was ready to fight. DC when he didn't blow up
236.
should have been 240. Yeah, 238 to 242 is what he liked. A lot of fighters. What's called Stipe came back after he lost to DC. He came back and he was back down to 228, 232. Yeah, somewhere in there. So these guys, Moldavsky, Ryan Bader, certain fighters, they're better at that smaller weight. What's his name? Linton Vassell. After got tired of cutting weight to get to 205, he looks really good right now at heavyweight.
Yeah, and then
So-
you take a look. He went way big. Went up into
Yeah.
the 250s and then decided, it's too much weight to
Nah.
carry. He's somewhere in the 240s. Dude,
Yep.
the guy's got a gas tank and he's strong as hell. So
Got it. Figgy's brother. So
that
Francisco
was
Figueiredo.
fast.
Yeah, he looked good. Nice
That,
transition.
that was a
nice
slick,
smooth.
very slick. He transitioned into that very well.
Anytime someone starts to roll over, if you start to come underneath, they try to keep their legs kind of tucked tight. He didn't keep his legs tucked tight,
Nope.
and then Figgy's brother
He just
grabbed it, pulled it in. I liked how he latched on too, because he grabbed right behind the heel, which makes it a little bit easier to grab. So he went calf, and then he kind of worked his way up to the heel right away with the extension, and he continued the roll. As he continued the roll, then he extended the leg. Nicely done. Nicely done. Just in all fairness, I didn't see the first two fights. I was driving, and I was trying to watch the fights and drive.
Well,
at
let's
the
talk
same
about
time.
Gabe Green. You started to bring him
He
up
looked
against Linnaeus.
Looking good.
Yeah.
He looked good.
I'm very happy for Gabe. Gabriel Green is a good, tough fighter. Came up in Southern California area. He trains with Tracy Hess at Sub Fighters, and he's fighting his style. He's taking his time in the fights. He pressed a little too hard when he first came into the UFC, and you could see that, made a difference that when he started just relax. Again, you don't have to win every second of the fight. You just have to win the fight. And
He got face planted though, John.
dude, he did. He got hit with that one and dropped over. I went, oh, and
this shit's over.
he did a nice job of recovering, brought himself back. And look he broke Linnaeus. You could see Linnaeus started to get tired. And as the pressure started to build, quickly fell off with the cliff. And this is one of those ones when you're tired, man, there's not much you can do because this is what you're talking about. Hey, you think you do enough, you can do more.
You can do more.
This is it.
Well, here, there's, I say, like, you look at guys like GSP. He's got so many tools in his box because he's someone that doesn't take any time off. Yep. Even, what is he now, like 42, 43, something like that? You look at him now, he's fucking ripped and shredded. I mean, he's lost a little bit of muscle mass, but he's still lean as all hell. He looks absolutely amazing for someone who's at that age. Me, I don't look like that. I got a dad bod now, okay? But this guy, all he's got, like, when I talk about fighters on the offseason, make sure you guys are staying in shape through your camps. You don't have to be in tip-top shape, but the better shape you're in, the more knowledge you can absorb.
Stay ready, be ready.
So then you can actually start to put together new ideas in your sparring. Sparring just isn't every single time going out there, okay, I'm going to do this. No, sparring is about trying to work on the things.
Learning a new technique and then putting it into practice.
Exactly. That's what sparring is all about. I think too many people now have gone like, okay, what I do is good enough. No. Sparring is meant to be used to learn new things, try new things in live training. That's what it's meant for. Also, when he got dropped face down, ass up, the recovery was there because he was in phenomenal shape. Whereas his opponent, you could tell the pressure got to him, didn't like fighting on his back foot, gassed himself out trying to finish him, whatever it was. He just continued, like, the shape's got to be there. And Green was in shape, and he pushed the pace, and he recovered fast. He looked good. I thought he looked good. I tip my hat to him,
Big
man.
win for him.
Tracy Hess and that group, great guys. Motherfucking Jones, what's his name? Josh Jones. So
Joshua.
Joshua. Yes, I love him, man.
He's funny.
Nice guy.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk. We're going to get into a little bit of, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk, but now we're going to get into some boxing. Let's talk a little bit of this boxing.
Ooh, that was a fight. Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano was as good a boxing, well, I don't want to say women's fight. It was a great boxing fight. I don't give a shit if it's men or women. Yeah. It was just a great matchup, great technique thrown. I mean, it was just Katie Taylor, man, you got to give – this is the first time I've ever seen her actually pushed in a fight. Pushed to the point where I go, she's going to lose this sucker because she was hurt. Especially, was it the fourth round? Man, it was either the fourth or the fifth. Amanda Serrano gets her in the corner, and you can see she couldn't get out, and Amanda just started lighting her up. And when she went back to her corner, you could see that whole, oh my God, I can't stop what she's doing. And her coaches got her back. She sucked it up, and she started winning those later rounds, a little bit. And it's just by a little bit, but yeah, you're right. I went back and watched that fight because I was thinking that Amanda Serrano, it's a close fight. I thought Amanda won the fight still, but I thought
Amanda won too.
I thought Katie won the first round. I thought Amanda won the second round. But Amanda took those middle rounds and Katie took the first and then the last ones at the end. But I loved at the end of that, the 10th round, they're both standing there throwing.
Yeah.
I mean, and they were just giving it everything they had. What a great fight. Great fight.
Yeah, you and I were texting back and forth. I was trying to drive 80 miles an hour on the freeway, trying to text you and watch the fight at the same time. But I thought Katie won the first, and then I thought Amanda won the next six, basically.
4 or 5.
Yeah, the next 6, and then I had Katie land because this is what I saw, John. I had Katie winning the last four rounds. I had it 6-4. I had it 6-4. I think it was. So 6, yeah, something like that. Do the math.
That would be 5-5 because you gave her the first.
Okay, I get it. I had it 6'4".
I don't know about you, but if you do this, go ahead and count them.
I had it 6'4" for Amanda.
Yeah.
It was close.
It was.
But what I thought the deciding factors in those last 3 rounds was that Katie, let me start with Amanda. Amanda had some good. She was popping with the jab, landing some clean shots.
The body work she did was beautiful.
The body work was good. The thing is, though, when Katie threw, she started, and especially in that last round, she was sitting down on the punches and throwing, and it was making Amanda take a step back.
True.
Which is, I think, what the judges looked, because we talk about damage.
Yeah.
We talk about what the impact of the shot takes. That is what I think won her those later rounds. Amanda looked like she started to there wasn't as much pop on her punches in the championship round. And I would say championship 8, 9, and 10.
I think those middle rounds where she threw a lot of shots on Katie.
Yeah.
Trying to get rid of her at certain points. I think those kind of burned her out for those later rounds. Got a little bit tired, but I don't care. It was a great fight. Both of them just unbelievable talent, unbelievable toughness. Just watching Katie Taylor, Amanda in the corner always seemed very composed and ready to go back and do her thing. Katie, you could see there was, she had to collect herself. She was in a dogfight, and this is the first time someone was, she's knocking on my door. She's going to take my titles, and she pulled herself through that. I love the whole contest. It was great.
Is this one of those ones you called a robbery?
Nah, it's not a robbery, but I still think Amanda won.
Yeah, I thought Amanda won as well. Yeah. The part is that Jake Paul and who's the promoter?
Eddie Hearn.
Eddie Hearn. They bet $1 million at the weigh-ins.
No, dude. Jake Paul.
The weigh-ins or the press conference. I think it was the presser. If I'm Jake Paul, that's a hard pill for me to swallow. You know what I mean? That's a hard pill, for me to say, I'm gonna pay you knowing that my girl should have won. That's rough, man. That's rough. And I mean, I was watching it, and I could hear some of the I was listening to some of the Spanish announcers, and they were like, no, this is not. There's no, it shouldn't have been that, and it should, obviously Amanda should have won. But overall, like I said, it was a good fight. Now let me ask you this: do they run it back?
Yes, have to.
I think it's going to be it.
First off,
barn burner of a
absolutely, because this is the kind of fight when you have
show me the money.
You have a fight like this between they're the 2 best female fighters out there at this weight class. Obviously, you got Clarissa Shield, who's bigger, and that would be someone that you can bring in, but she's too big for both of them. So in this weight category, there's no one close to them. And after that fight, people want to see. They want to see the next round. They want to see the next fight. And this is one that you can put out there, and you can say, hey, we're going to put this one on again, and you can make a lot of money, and they're going to make a lot of money, and that's the way it should be. They deserve it for the effort that they put into this and the product that they put out there. Hell yes, I want to see this one again.
John, do we get, okay, everyone talks about, UFC fighters or MMA fighters are underpaid, but here, let me go into the next thing. We want to see this fight again. Okay, but are we getting the same bullshit boxing stuff where the promoters get involved and we don't see this fight for 3 years, 4 years? Is that what's going to happen?
No, I think they're smart enough to know this. Hey, you got to strike while the iron's hot. Iron's hot right now. You can make something of this. I think you'll see them fighting again, within the year. It may
Is it because they're females and they have no one else at these levels for them to fight? Is that why?
I don't think it has to do with female. I think it has to do with talent. Let's be honest. How much talent is out there that compares to what they can do? There's not. They go out and they fight other fighters, and they basically walk through those fighters. They actually push each other. They actually are competition. You get those very best, and then we talk about just, the small, minute, decimals difference in talent in certain areas and stuff, and they both have it. Can a boxing promoter screw this up? Absolutely. Let's just be honest. Do I think they are going to? No. I think they know that, hey, we need to put this back on because this is something that we can sell. It's easy. And I think, man, it definitely helps, female boxing, women's boxing got a big, shot in the arm based upon that fight.
No, I agree. I would love to see this fight ran back, probably either the end of the year or beginning of next year, sometime around there. Give them some time to enjoy the accomplishment. Let them start talking to sponsors and promoters and other things that can help bring in a little bit more money for them. Let's get the build up going though. Probably in the next month, say like, hey, we just had one of the best fights we've ever seen, not just female fights, but the best fights we've ever seen. It was a great fight. I agree with you. I get concerned because I hear a lot of these other people that we're friends with spouting off like, oh, but the boxing makes all this money. I'm like, yeah, boxing has one, maybe two good fights, and that's it. Okay. What about all those other fighters that are making money on the UFC rosters and the Bellator rosters and the ONE rosters and the PFL rosters that they're making a lifestyle out of this? They're making a career. Boxing doesn't have that. They've got 4 fights or 5 fights on below. They're not making a life. Like there's not 15 fights on there, John, where 20 or 14 fights where 28 fighters can actually support their family and live a life. That's what the difference is. Like if we want to do, if you guys, if we want to say, hey,
this is what
the UFC, you see my point?
Well, here's the point. This is what you're not putting out there. Boxing makes more money than MMA fighters at the very top. They do.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's because of the Ali Act. It's not because the promoters want to be generous. They have to be generous. That's the law. MMA doesn't have that. The big difference in what you're talking about is if you look at a fight card, and let's take a look at the Katie Taylor's, Amanda Serrano fight card. The fight before it was a good fight. Jesse Vargas against Liam Smith. Okay. And it was a good fight, and Jesse Vargas is, a guy I've watched for a long time. I've watched Liam Smith. It was good. And then let's go down from there. You're not going to know those people so much. And they had a championship fight for the women in the bigger category. Can't remember what weight it was, but they had that, but no one knows those people. And when you don't know the people, that means that you're not tuning in for those people. Mm-hmm. And in boxing, you're going to get usually about 6 fights, maybe 7 fights on the entire card. And the first 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4, you're not going to know anyone on there. And those people are making $500, $1,000 to fight. They're not making anything. All the money goes to those people in that top rung. And so that's where the money is. Yes, they make more. If you're that top, Amanda and Katie, they're making the lion's share, and they deserve the lion's share. They're the ones that the eyes are coming for. But in MMA, if you're taking a look at the UFC, it's different than Bellator, because Bellator pays their they pay their contracted fighters. When I say contracted, those are people that have more than a 1-fight contract. Bellator will bring young talent in to look at them, give them a 1-fight contract. And they're not going to pay them a lot. They're not. They're paying them what a regional show pays them based upon, hey, we're giving you an audition to see how good you are, and do we want to sign you to a contract. The UFC kind of does that with the Dana White series, the Contender series. They're not paying those guys anything. When you get to the UFC, you've got their minimums, and their minimum I think now is 12. I think it's 12 and 12. You got to figure back when you were fighting. What was it, 2? 2 and 2?
2 and 2.
2 and 2. So now it's 12 and 12. So that's better, and that is better than the boxing. If you're the first prelim fight on the UFC, probably you're making 12 and 12. Okay, that's not bad.
But there's 15 fights,
exactly,
John, versus 7.
Exactly.
So more people are making more money.
And this is your opportunity to say, okay, I've made it to the UFC. Now I've got to bump up my game and get to that higher level of pay, which you can get to. You just got to win. But people, you can't compare these. It's not apples to apples. Like you say, when Bellator does a show, we're talking 14 fights. Sometimes, come on, we've had 20-some fights in a Bellator, okay?
In Ireland.
All right, so
put a gun barrel in my mouth, man.
The UFC normally limits their fights to 13. Sometimes they'll do 14, but normally it's 13 or sometimes a little bit less because the fight falls off and they can't do anything about that. That's not their fault.
Yeah.
But you always have those, and let's be honest, the quality of those fights throughout, it's dropped off some because it has to in the beginning, until someone knows them, but they're trying to get you to see their young people and see who's going to be their young star. That's how they bring in, a Kazmat Chimaev. They brought him in on a week's notice because a fight falls off, and look, they found a star. And that's their way of doing it, and it's worked for them, and it's great. But you cannot compare the boxing level to the MMA level. The MMA promotions actually put out a lot of money throughout the actual whole card.
Yeah. I'll continue to go back to the fact that MMA fans, they could like to complain a lot about what the fighters make. But the problem is, what are you going to do when you have no one that you're really paying attention to now? Because they're going to cut back on how many fights. So now when you tune in, there'll be 6 fights or 7 fights or maybe even less, 5 fights.
You don't want that.
You don't want that. Plus, you don't get a chance. Like in boxing, no one's following these young guys' careers. They're waiting until they get to TV, and then they're following them. But even then, no one's tuning in for the first 3 fights on the boxing card. If you go to a boxing event,
empty.
People don't show up until the main event.
Yep.
Maybe the co-main, depending on who's on there.
Yep.
The arena is empty. It's a ghost town.
Yep.
The concessions, people are going, what the fuck? I'm not making any money right now. The people that are selling popcorn and beer and all, no one's there. You go to a Bellator, you go to a UFC, you go to like any of the MMA promotions, that shit's busy by like the second or third fight, and there's 14 fights. Those fans are dedicated to be there for like 4 hours, 5 hours sometimes. They're there. They're in it to win it. MMA fans will be extremely disappointed if MMA starts to go towards the boxing format.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be crushed.
livid.
They're going to be like, they'll be mad. And you know what? You know who they have to blame? They have to blame themselves. Yeah, because it's not just you guys. It's also a lot of the media going, hey, we should be getting paid more. No. Look,
some
you get
should.
paid more. Some
should.
should. I agree. Some should. But like you said, with the Bellator, right, with the young talent that's around there, like who's the young kid that Bellator's using here in San Jose? Serrano. I don't know his
Bobby
first name.
Serrano.
Bobby Serrano. Kid's good, man.
Yeah.
Super good.
And guess
so
what?
I think
he's now signed.
There you
And
go.
he's going to make more money. And that's what that fight is for. That is for you to be the guy that puts on in this, you are giving an audition. It's an audition.
You have to look at it this way. If
It's
you
an
can't sell
opportunity.
tickets and you can't be a draw in your own town, how are you going to be a draw in another town? That's the biggest thing. That was one of the leading causes why Gil and I got signed with Strikeforce a long time ago. Gil had a pretty big name training with Nick and Nate, as well as with Jake Shields and Dave Terrell and all these other guys from the Gracie camp. I kind of had a smaller name over here on the AKA, but in San Jose, I had a big ass family. I'm half Mexican. So anytime I'd sell tickets, 200 something tickets right off the bat went to just my family. Then my family had a big family. So, you know what I mean? So it was like 200 tickets were bought right off the bat. We guaranteed because my family bought those tickets. So it just, if you can't sell tickets in your own town, then that's what's gonna bring and guide you along in terms of making you more money later on. And so the media needs to slow the roll on pushing like, they should be making more money. Yes, of course. In a real world, we'd all love to make more money. You think the person at Apple is going, man, I wish I was making less money? No. People at Apple and Facebook are all thinking, man, I should be making more money. Yeah. Everyone thinks they should be making more money for what they do. I look at how many fighters are actually able to put money down on a house. Not everyone lives in San Jose where I live, where it takes 16 fights just to even put a down payment down on a house. Some people live in Kansas. What's his name? Krause, right?
Yeah,
but
Missouri.
Krause is out there, and James Krause,
Bryce Mitchell.
What's it called? Yeah, Bryce Mitchell's in Oklahoma,
Arkansas.
But no, Strabanimal. What's his name?
Gallagher.
He moved to Kansas. He's got a house there now. You know what I mean? Like, there's places that are affordable for people to live, so 2 or 3 fights, they can buy a house. So boxers don't always get that opportunity. I'm sure the fight I've seen several times on boxing, the first 3 fights, 4 fights, like you said, they're making like $1,000. I used to coach a boxer. He was making $1,500 and $1,500 if he won. Yeah. He was making $2,000 and $2,000. Then he got signed to Goose and Tudor, and then he started making better money. But then when he started making better money, what I mean by better money is like 30 to 50 grand. But he was fighting Angolo. He was fighting James Kirkland. He fought those guys.
Yeah.
Look at that level of fighting, and you're only making 30, 50 grand. These guys, sometimes they're not fighting guys at that level, and what are they making? Yep. I mean, I get Arlovsky's a former champion, but look who he just fought. What did he make? He had to have made $200,000.
Who? Collier?
Arlovsky.
I would say Arlovsky made $200,000.
But see, there's certain
Collier's
fighters, right? No, but I'm saying, there's certain fighters that are making a lot of money.
Sure.
That are, that are fighting. Arlovsky, he's older. He's 43. It's like Collier. I don't know what he made. But whatever he made, I thought he won the fight. It could be, I guess you could perceive that that was a good step up in competition. I thought he won the fight.
Yeah.
What did he make? Did he make 15? Did he make 20? I mean, if it's 12,000, he made 24 grand. He made 12.
No, he made half.
Yeah, but I'm saying, it'd be 12 and 12, right?
Yeah, but he didn't get the other part. He lost.
He didn't get the other part. But I think he would have, if he were fighting Andre, I would have thought he would have made more than 12 and 12.
He might have.
He might have been at, 18.
Based upon being that was the co-main, right?
Yeah, it was the co-main.
Yeah, so he
might have got a bonus that for that. Because I remember in some contracts, if you're the main event of the co-main, you get a little bit more money.
Yep.
Anyways, all right. Well, that's our wrap up on that. I've vented enough on the fighter pay. Let's talk about some news. What do we got here?
Well, actually, we're going to jump into weighing in on the odds and do the main event for the upcoming UFC card.
Oh, the main
Gaethje
event.
And Charles Oliveira.
Oh, we're doing the main event, weighing in on the odds.
Hello.
Now. Oh, I thought we were doing the weighing in on the odds for the midweek show for the whole
all of
thing.
them.
Okay.
Not just the main
All right.
Now you get it.
Let's jump on these weighing in on the odds for the main event. Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira.
You got to say it first.
Justin Gaethje is a plus.
Say it. You got to say it.
Then I'm right. I'm right.
You screwed up again, dude.
Well, you guys don't speak English, so I got to figure out. It's like deciphering what you guys are like through Braille. trying to feel for the nipples to see what you guys are saying. All right, Justin Gaethje is a plus 135 underdog, and Charles Oliveira is a minus 165. And the over/under, it is minus 185 on the over for 1.5.
I got minus 165.
What did I say?
85.
Oh, my eyes are bad.
Over
6
over 1.5 is a minus 165. Under is at plus 135. How do you see this? Who are you going with? I want to hear this.
I'm going to take the under.
You're going to take the under?
Yeah.
I'm not going to take the under. This is going to go longer.
1.5. I'm going to take the under.
1.5. It's going to go longer than.
I think Oliveira is either going to get knocked out under 1, or he's going to be able to take Gaethje down and sub him before.
There's a possibility there.
Justin Gaethje will walk him down and try to knock him out like how Dustin Poirier did, and he rocked him and hurt him, and I think Justin could potentially knock him out. Because Oliveira, I'm just being honest, Oliveira, he's comfortable with coming in with it. His hands are up, his defense is up, his chin is good. It's not great, okay? And Justin Gaethje will be there throwing shots and trying to get him out of there like we've seen in all of his other fights. I would take a chance. On the under. I would take a chance.
So you're going to put $135 down to win $100 on basically 7.5 minutes of time.
Yes, I am.
You're going to get rid of a good fighter, a great fighter, in 7.5 minutes.
How soon did Khabib finish him once he got into the ground?
Don't complain.
No, I'm asking.
But it's also Khabib.
Is Charles Oliveira as good at jiu-jitsu as Khabib on the ground?
Absolutely.
Is he as good as jiu-jitsu? Okay.
Absolutely.
And is Justin Gaethje have power? Justin Gaethje have power like Dustin Poirier?
You're trying to make a point here. You're not listening.
Because I have a point.
But
I have
what
one.
you need to do is listen every now and then because you might learn something.
Oh, jeez.
You watched when Khabib was able to pressure Justin. I mean, pressure him. Huge pressure. Walk through him. And he didn't do it from the very start. He did it when probably 3.5 to 4 minutes of the first round was over. He really started pressuring Justin. And do you see Charles being able to put that same pressure on Justin?
I'm not saying that I can see him doing it. I can see is him. What he does, what Oliveira does, he hands up,
Yes.
walks you down,
Yes.
push kick,
Push
walks
kick.
you down, push
Yes.
kick.
I agree.
He will put pressure. He will put the pressure. Now, I think that he may walk into a shot.
There's a difference in doing that pressure when you're being met with pressure because Justin is a pressure fighter, and Justin is going to be eating that leg up.
You're proving my point.
No, I'm not. You're not listening. I'm saying that no one's going to run out there like Khabib
Yeah.
and pressure this fight. They're both going to come out and take your time and slowly start to do what you want to do or try. I think it's going to go past.
When have
the
you
7.5.
seen Justin Gaethje take his time in anything? That's my point.
Did
when
Justin
you watch,
Gaethje stop? Did Justin Gaethje get rid of Michael Chandler in 7.5 minutes? He did.
There was
not.
more. There was more of a mix.
did
There was
not.
more of a mix up. That's not the same fighter.
Oh, now you're saying
That's
it's
not
a
the same
different
fighter. I'm being honest. Look,
Okay.
if you look at Charles Oliveira, I look at more of Justin Gaethje like a Dustin Poirier. Okay, like with Dustin was able to land some clean shots. He rocked
Sure.
Charles. I think that's what's going to happen. He's
Okay.
going to try to walk down how he tried to walk down Dustin. He's going to try to do the same thing with Gaethje. Gaethje's going to rock him. Maybe even try to put him away. Try to put the pressure, try to put him away, try to get him out of there. Charles either gets knocked out or Charles goes ahead and gets a takedown, is able to get him reaching range, whatever it is, reaching, overextending, gets a takedown. Once his fight hits the ground, Charles all day. All day. I think he subs him. I think he subs him. I think he subs him once it hits the ground.
There's no doubt that Charles has a huge advantage on the ground over Justin. No doubt.
Yeah.
But his ability to
I
get
think
Justin. Hold on. His ability to get Justin there is not the same as Khabib. It's just not.
I agree.
Okay? He doesn't have that wrestling. He's got great jiu-jitsu. His wrestling takedowns are not going to get Justin to the ground. So he's got to hurt Justin in the stand-up or catch Justin in a mistake to get him there.
I don't know, John. I feel
All
like
right,
I've
what
seen
we're going to do
when
on this one, since we are the ones that are arguing about this, I'm going to take the over at minus 165. So I'm going to put $100 down. You're going to put $100 down. If I win, you're paying me $165. If you win, I'm going to pay you $80.
Why am I only getting 80?
Because you're plus 135.
Yeah, you owe me another $100.
No. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
135.
Okay, hold on. You're right.
I'm plus.
I was looking at it.
I'm plus,
You're right.
John.
You're right. So, at minus 165, you'll owe me.
No. If you look, John, let's just do it. Make it easy. If it goes over, I'll pay you the 165. If it goes under, you pay me the 135.
Okay.
There, make it easy.
I like that.
There you go.
You got it.
Okay.
We have a bet.
Yeah,
it's not a fair bet because
I'm
I'm actually getting up on you.
You're right. It's not a fair bet because I should actually get my 100 plus the 135.
No, you're not getting your.
You would
100
only
plus.
get. You
You're
would
not
only
actually
get.
handing
You would
me
only
the
get
100.
65.
You're not actually
would
handing
only
me the. Are you handing me the 100?
You would only get.
You're not
65
handing me the 100.
You're the.
You're
favorite.
actually not putting $100 in my pocket.
John is you're the favorite. I'm actually conceding more money to you for no reason. You're the favorite.
I said.
Yes, I know. You're the favorite. I'm taking the bigger chance and I'm only asking for $135.
I said I would give you the $135.
I know. And I should get my 100 back too. So $235.
You're not putting.
I'm the underdog.
How are you?
All right.
How are you getting
But look-
100 back that you never put out?
I know, but I'm pretending.
Okay.
So at plus 135 or minus 165 for Charles Oliveira and just straight up, what would you go with? Would you go with it?
I'm telling you, I'd go with Justin Gaethje at plus 135.
I probably have to agree with you on it.
Yeah, and so because
see,
he can hurt him, and he can not.
Yep.
Charles could definitely win the fight. I'm not saying it.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna
absolutely.
put out that 165 to say that he's gonna beat him when I got a guy in Justin Gaethje that I know he can beat Oliveira. No, so
absolutely.
I think I would go with Justin, but I definitely am gonna go the over. You're gonna go the under. I like this one.
Yeah,
All right.
I really believe. I believe that Charles is going to come out, take the center of the cage like he does in his high stance with his hands up high, and he's going to use the push kick. And exactly. Yeah. And just like in the Dustin fight, he's going to probably take some shots until he gets that takedown. He's not going to be able to just reach in and get the takedown right away. No. But his wrestling has gotten better when you look at the Tony Ferguson fight.
Still not good enough.
It's still gonna, but he has different ways of doing it though too.
Yeah.
He doesn't just need to get the takedown. He could shuck the arm by and the body lock gets in the back and it can be over.
Climb up just like he did on Dustin.
The levels of grappling is way different. Just like I think the levels of power in the hands. Different. I think Justin's gonna and the ability to take shots is also different. So that's why I'm saying I'm going to take the under, because if Charles is persistent on standing his ground like he did with Dustin, it could end badly for him. Yes, quick.
I agree.
And if Justin ends up being too aggressive, it could put himself in a position where he gets his back taken from the standing position or even just taken down. And if that happens, it's going to be over too. Yeah. That's why I'm going to take the under.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I like this one too.
All right.
All right, what else you got for us there, Dave?
All right, let's look at a couple of fight announcements. There are a few. We'll probably just cover a couple here because Josh went on a long tangent right now. But so we have
when I'm right, what will you say? Are you gonna, should I call your neighbor, punch you in the mouth again? I'm right. Okay, go ahead.
Oh man, please stop reminding me of last night. I don't know what to think about it. UFC London announcement. They are coming back in July, and they announced Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes.
Look at the UFC.
He gets an encore performance.
Starting to push Tom Aspinall, which is smart. He's good.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's ready for Curtis Blaydes.
I don't know if he is, John.
Yeah. That's a tough fight for him. That's a tough matchup.
Yeah. Ooh. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I mean, hey, you know what? Aspinall's coaches maybe saw something in Curtis and said, hey, you know what? We're cool with this, or who knows? But that's a tough fight.
There comes a point where you got to jump in the deep end of the water, man. There comes that fight. This is the one.
Could have picked someone else. Could have had somebody.
Definitely not going to out wrestle him. Not going to get to the ground, so he's going to have to figure out a way to do it on the feet. Which look, his stand up has been looking really good. He's been doing.
Well, here's
better.
the other thing, though, John.
But Curtis Blaydes is not bad on the feet too.
Will Blaydes make it easy for him though, and just take him down for him? That's the other thing. Like him being on bottom, it's not a bad thing. He moves pretty well. He not only does he just look like Frank Mir, he kind of moves a little bit. You know, not as good, but when Frank was younger, he moved pretty damn well off his back.
How many heavyweights have you seen that you look at and you go, "That's a guy on his back. Don't put him there."
Yeah.
Not very many. Fabricio.
No. Yeah.
You had Verdum. That was one. Nogueira was another. There's not many.
No.
So because and the big difference is, and it happened to Nogueira, especially with Fedor, heavyweights in the top position, they can do a lot of damage. It only takes a couple of shots to really change your ability to get that submission at all. You're taking a chance. Not that it can't work for you. It can if you're that guy. And Aspinall's got it. He's got a pretty good game off of his back. But man, it's rolling the dice. Rather be in the top position.
The crowd may be a big factor.
That
though.
might be.
That's the other thing.
Might be.
You know, he may rise to the occasion, and
or
you may have a star. Yeah, rise, whatever. He might. I mean, you might be. I feel like he's becoming a star, but a win right now over Blaydes.
Oh,
I think puts him in that puts him right there in that.
But
like,
this is where,
I'm
we talked
ready for
about,
that.
there comes that point, the fights never get easier.
No.
Well, he's at it. He has.
But see,
Aspinall, you have made that leap. Good for you, man.
that's what I like about when they slow played him, though, in the beginning. It was smart. And then now they're feeling it. Now they understand that he's showing all the things he needs to show probably in the gym. So whoever his coaches are, whatever they're doing a great job. I think this is going to be a real test for him.
Yeah.
And the ability to stuff
Huge
takedowns, the ability to get up off of his back against the fence, the ability to land his striking, stay composed when he's being wrestled to death. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this fight. This is a chance to really make him a star.
Yeah.
So good luck to both of them, though. Good fight, though. Should be a good fight.
Yeah.
Next.
All right, next fight. They announced UFC will come to Austin, Texas. They're coming here in June, and Josh Emmett is gonna return against Calvin Kattar.
That's a good fight. Josh Emmett is power. He's got power in his hands, man. Good wrestling. He's not going to really out wrestle Calvin, though. He could get Calvin down. Calvin's going to work to get to his feet. I think the boxing actually goes to Calvin Kattar. I think he's got the cleaner, more technical. I don't think he's got the power that Josh Emmett has, especially in that right hand. But this is a great matchup. And Josh Emmett is always that guy sitting right on the outside, looking for that fight that's going to get him past it. Do you think this is the fight, if he wins it, that it gets it past him? Gets him into that upper echelon to fight for the featherweight title? I'm not sure it does.
It should. It should get him there, but I don't know.
Agree.
Like, he's going to have to fight someone like a Max, or he's going to have to fight someone like Yair Rodriguez. He's going to have to fight one of those guys. Maybe a Korean Zombie.
So, again, this is not that fight that's going to put him in that next slot. Yeah. That's what I'm looking at.
How old is he? Is he 38?
He's all right there. He's up there.
Yeah, he had some issues in the beginning, fighting.
37.
So 37, yeah. He don't have
Just
time to waste, man. This is that age.
He's tough.
So
Man, the dude.
he's got power,
Oh,
as
he's
we
got
saw
power.
with Michael Johnson. He's got power. He can wrestle, but he was losing every minute of that fight until that knockout.
Yeah, well, again, you don't have to win the whole battle, just the war. Look at you. You're dying on me. You're dying on me.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't get home until late. You don't have any more there, Dave? What you got for us? Nothing?
So they're saying that Ciryl Gane is going to headline UFC France against Tai Tuivasa in September.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh.
This is one of those ones you go, okay, let's take a look at this fight. Let's see, stand-up wise. Well, the slicker technique, Ciryl Gane. All right, power. It's kind of close. It's even, maybe Tuivasa. Ground game, Ciryl Gane. Takedowns, Ciryl Gane. Endurance, Ciryl Gane. Who's going to win this? Tuivasa.
Also, we can see the shoey.
Yes.
All right.
I think it's a great matchup.
Well, hey, guys.
I like it.
I think it should be good, especially in France.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to bug out of this because my man, Josh Thompson, is ready to choke on his own tongue. Go to our website and get some of our swag. We have got sweatshirts, T-shirts, coffee mugs, everything for you, hoodies, all that good stuff with all kinds of different old style weighing in and new style weighing in. We've even got the and still and the Joshism of hindsight is 50-50. All of those good things. Go to weighingin.com and pick up some swag. You'll enjoy it. We like it. We wear it. And everybody that works around us, they now wear it because they love what we do. So, how you feeling, brother? You going to live on me? Or you going to die?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So, hey, thank you guys all. And, John, what are we going to do? We will
see ya.
See ya.